with the greatest ship of all before hitting the most dangerous icebergs it can ever experience. Usually, it dodged many icebergs back in the day, but this day would come as it would sink in the North Atlantic Ocean. Huh. No iceberg at the moment. However, we are experiencing ice falling from other ships. Yeah, right. As if we've dodged many... Hostile! Hostile! Find Titanic! It's gonna hit! Out of port! But this ship can't sink. She's made of ice. I'm sure she will. And she can. No matter what we do, the Tyrannic will founder. Lifeboats are already being launched within the hour, as many lifeboats attempt to escape the sinking. Many people were in grave danger right when the ship was about to sink because of the iceberg. Where did it go? Where did the ship go? You know what? I'll just reset the whole thing. I'm not gonna tell the entire story because for some reason it just despawned right in front of my eyes. Oh, I think it's because I named the ship. Hold on. I'm gonna name it right before it sinks. Tyrannic. And there we go. Okay. The Tyrannic was the biggest ship amongst all, but little did it know, everyone will be in grave danger. 1960, 2 years after World War II, it was still a warship, but because many subs were still active. As the ship was sailing onto the North Atlantic Ocean, many people were fast asleep in their decks, unaware of the disaster that would strike them and traumatize them for the rest of their lives. I'm sure the ship is unsinkable. Huh, yeah, beat it. Well, the ship has safety warnings, and when it sinks, it is unsinkable. Morning began approaching, which means they can see the icebergs very clearly. But what they didn't know is that disaster was gonna strike. Daytime began hitting, and they were approaching an ice field, home to thousands and thousands of icebergs. after they dodged the ice. They have received ice warnings back in the day, so they thought they were gonna avoid one again. So they put it to the test. And two. Everything went south. They couldn't see very far, so they wouldn't be able to see the iceberg. But how to starboard! How to starboard! But then suddenly, the turntable got stuck, and they were approaching the iceberg. Many people covered their eyes as the worst was about to happen. The ship was about to hit the iceberg. Why are they turning? Is it all over? Yes, all over, sir. It's gonna hit! The Tyrannic has hit the iceberg. The captain corpse. Distress signals were immediately sent out as the ship was about to go down. They realized the ship wasn't unsinkable, and they also realized their mistake. The ship had a starboard list right after the iceberg hit. And when it hit, I felt a shudder when the iceberg struck. Yeah. Right after the iceberg struck, the bow was beginning to flood, and several decks have gone under. Many people were falling off the rest of the ship. Lifeboats were being prepared immediately. And the captain decided to stay in it to go down with the ship. But he then realized that he would survive because he knew how to swim. The bow was about to flood, and the lower decks of the grand staircase have gone under. The Distress signals were sent out immediately. There were no ships near. A bit of water was sweeping into the bow, and they knew it was sinking. The upper bow was beginning to flood. The lights are beginning to flicker. The bow has gone under. The grand staircase lower decks are flooding. There were two possible theories that the ship could split apart just like the Titanic. There was a low chance that it would not. It could either split apart or not, because the ship hit an iceberg. Nonetheless, the ship was going down. Lifeboats were being launched immediately. Many people either ran up to the stern or was being dragged by the water, as they would drown or their limbs would go numb due to the immense pressure and cold. The bridge was flooding. The first funnel had collapsed. The second funnel has collapsed. The funnels are beginning to fall a bit faster, just like the Britannic. The lights were still flickering, and the ship could split apart. The ship's propellers were still moving. The third funnel has collapsed. The Tyrannic reached a low angle. The ship split into two. The hull has disconnected, and the stern is falling. third and fourth funnels have collapsed. Right before my eyes, the ship was beginning the final plunge. The stern is rising. The Tyrannic will no longer see night or daylight ever again. The ship begins the final plunge. The HMT Tyrannic is founded. Nothing but light and lifeboats surround. The ship has sunk. No lifeboats were nearby. The ship's destiny has come to an end. And the stern rests at the top, while the bow lays at the bottom. The end.